Come join me in the garden. This morning it's about 7 o'clock. You can hear the birds, all the critters. The sun's coming up, and this is the time of day I love to pick peas or actually gather anything from the garden. Greg has about 5 rows of zipper peas here, and I'm gonna pick these and use my new electric pressure canner to can these. Now off this plot, I got about 2 5-gallon buckets of peas. This zipper cream pea is a field pea variety that's been a southern staple for years. It's creamy, delicious white peas. They're easy to shell, they're heat tolerant, and heavy yielding. 65 days to maturity. Greg planted these toward the middle of August. The plants grow 2 to 3 feet tall and are semi-vining. It provides an excellent ground cover for weed suppression during growth. And each plant produces 6 to 9 inch pods, which are medium green in color and will fade slightly yellow as the peas mature. This is one of our favorite types of peas. We have trouble growing them in the spring, but we have excellent success in the early fall. Now, since I did pick these in the early morning and they still had the dew on them, I will lay them out on a table in the sun and let the dew dry. You don't want to leave them out here all day because that's going to make them tough. Just long enough for that dew to dry. And like I said earlier, these are the easiest peas to me to shell. They're easy to open. They don't have a lot of that white that comes out. These were really clean. There's no stings on them. I sat here on a Sunday afternoon just listening to different things on my computer, put my iPods in, put me some music on, and it took me about 3 hours to shell. But I do love shelling me some peas. They were very clean, nothing to pick through. I just put them in the strainer and ran some water over them a couple of times just to rinse off any dirt that may have stuck to them. I have my clean jars here that I have warmed up in my pressure canner. Now I'm using my new electric Presto pressure canner today with these peas. It's the first time I have used it, and I'll let you know how I liked it. I'm not completely filling these jars with peas because they tend to swell a little bit, and I found that the water doesn't siphon out as much, leaving a little extra room. I'm adding 1 teaspoon of salt to these. That's just preference. I like to add the seasoning. And next I'm going to add some warm water, not boiling water, just warm water. And I'm going to fill it all the way up to that first rim. You want to leave about a 1-inch headspace, and be sure to debubble your jars before you put your lids on. Just any type of wooden spoon or knife will work. Clean off those rims. Make sure nothing's on there that's going to prevent a seal from happening. I put a little bit of white vinegar on there to clean mine off. And pay attention to that 4th jar there that I'm putting the lid on right now. I kept noticing that the water disappeared out of this jar, and I thought something's not right here. So I emptied it out and inspected it one more time, and there's a crack all the way around the bottom. So always remember, inspect your jars really good. This would have been a disaster if I had used it. I'm putting clean lids on, and then my band's on finger tight. You do not want to over tighten, just as tight as your fingers can get one-handed. Okay, this is my new pressure canner and I love it. You start off by putting 3 quarts of water, and there is a fill line in there that shows you where the water should go to. And this is before I've put my peas in there. You simply plug it in and turn the dial if you want to pressure can or if you want to water bath. Then you set your timer for your recipe, and these peas are to be done for 40 minutes. So I'm going to warm my jars in this canner, and it tells you to insert your jars, and you can skip this step if your jars are already warm. I'll put the lid back on, and there was a little bit of learning curve with lining this lid up and getting that vent to go all the way down. Once you figure it out, it was very easy. After it's warmed, it will tell you to fill your jars. So you simply take your jars out and empty the water out, and then fill them with your vegetables. So here I'm just showing you again how you can select the pressure can or the water bath, press that right arrow, set your timer, and then add your jars that are warm. Since I've already heated these jars, I'm just going right on to the next step. Since I've done this video, I've canned several times, and I'm just in love with it. I love that you can just put it in here, and once it's vented, you just can go on about your business, and you're not having to sit there watching that dial. Put the lid on and you move it to the lock position. You want to take your pressure regulator off while you're venting. Lower the green latch and twist it. And it's going to go through a heat process to get it up to the temperature needed to vent. The heat light will stay lit until the proper temperature is reached. Once the proper temperature is reached, the canner will automatically proceed to the vent phase. Once it's in the vent phase, 10 will appear on the display and it will start to count down. During venting, the air and steam will release from the vent pipe, and the air or vent cover will lock, and this will be noticeable. Throughout the venting and canning phases, you will hear the water boiling. Depending on the number and size of the jars, the air vent cover may lift during venting. The smaller the load, the more likely the air vent cover lock will lift. When the time expires, the unit will start beeping and tell you to put the pressure regulator on. If the air vent lock cover did not lift during venting, air and steam will continue to release from the air vent cover until it lifts. Then the display will show the number of minutes you have programmed for the canner to can. Once the appropriate temperature is reached, it will change from the word can to canning. The canner is now processing, and the timer will start to count down. Here you can see the pressure vent pipe popping up just as it would on your regular pressure canner. When the processing time expires, the canner beeps 4 times and the cool lights up. It may take 1.5 hours to cool. Once it cools, then the done light lights up. To turn the unit off, press and hold the X for 3 seconds. Confirm the air vent cover lock has dropped, unlock and lift the sensor arm and remove the cover. Using a jar lifter, carefully remove the jars by lifting straight up. Place the jars upright on a towel. Do not retighten the bands and allow the jars to cool naturally. Check the seals after 12 to 24 hours. If you can lift them with your fingertips, they have a good seal. The last step, and one of the most important steps, is to label your products with what's in the jar and the year. You went to all this work, and you want to make sure you know what it is and what year you put it up. Thanks for joining me today. Don't forget, check out the description below for product links and resources. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.